Okay. Cool. Okay, I will start talking in about 5 seconds. Hello everybody and welcome back to the AUR PC GT3 Elite League on Project Cars. It is the penultimate round of the season already. Obviously, it's only a 6-round season, but we're already at round 5. Unfortunately, I have missed the last 2 races because, first of all, being away and then being ill. So I'm a little bit out of touch with what has happened in the last couple of weeks. Luckily, though, I have my lovely co-commentator with me who did broadcast those 2 races, which, by the way, for anyone watching this on my YouTube channel later, you can find those 2 broadcasts from the last 2 rounds, which I missed on King-Kodiak's channel, which is Ranger Carrot 1980. Is that correct?
That's the Twitch handle. It's just Ranger Carrot on the YouTubes.
Just Ranger Carrot on YouTube. But that was the voice of my lovely co-commentator King-Kodiak. So how are you doing?
Good afternoon, morning, ladies and gentlemen, mothers, fathers, daughters, sons, brothers and sisters. I am all amped up and ready to go, as I always am. Glad to be along your side once more. What a race we have got lined up here at Laguna Seca. A few interesting points of note. We have got a car change. If I can find him, there he is. Mr. Perry Gronstra has ditched his Mercedes. And to be honest, from a little bit of testing I did earlier, I'm not surprised why the Merc felt very clumsy, very heavy here at Laguna Seca. There's no big straights. It's very twisty. But weirdly, the testing I did actually found the M6 to be quite strong. And I think part of the reason for that is the M6 seems to have a... Well, again, this is in standard setup, so everyone's setup is going to be a little bit different. But the shorter gear ratio seems to be the way to go. And the M6 seems to have that in its standard form. So that's possibly why I was and it was quite a bit quicker. It was a good second quicker I was in the M6 over the rest of the field. The rest of the field were roughly balanced. But the M6 seemed to have a bit of a advantage there.
Did you test all the cars, even the Ginetta?
Ironically, the Ginetta was the one I didn't do. It's the one I forgot.
Sure, yeah, because obviously, the Ginetta, it's the first Ginetta on the grid this season, I believe. So Grunster's taking that, and of course, if you change car mid-season, that also results in losing all your championship points. So Grunster was sitting 7th in the championship. He's going to now drop down to last, basically.
Indeed.
And then up a bit again, based on what points he scores today. But here we go, qualifying just starting now for round 5 out of 6, and of course I have to mention that the championship leader Bernex can clinch the championship today. I'm actually going to quickly bring up the Drivers' Championship while we're talking about it. So you can see here the championship Bernex leading by 41 points over second place Maisie, who's for the 2 points ahead of Yorkie. So it's a close battle for second, but it's a pretty big gap from Bernex down to Maisie. So obviously it's a maximum of 36 points you can score per week, 35 for the win and 1 extra for the pole position. So basically, if Wernex just fails to score, or if he manages to not score 5 points less than Maisie, he will clinch the championship today. It is
it's quite a healthy advantage. I mean, Wernex has just been a pretty strong force. He didn't have quite such a good day in the office last time. He obviously stole the win. He scored the win, was the sentence I was aiming for, in the first 2 rounds pretty convincingly, and had a bit of a we had a terrible day in the office at the Algarve, but as we've just had a few late joiners, we're now back up to 21, so we are going to have a few timing glitched drivers, sadly, those being Nismo in the second Tiger Ferrari, Yorkie in the M6, Colonel McCoy in the M6 as well, I believe, are the 3 drivers that are going to be stuck at the bottom of the table. We had 7 drivers stuck at the bottom of the table last week. It was made commentary very, very difficult. But the man we're looking at the moment, Yorkie in his M6, had a belting round. He was fighting for the win for most of the race, and a long way. I mean, so far ahead of the rest of the field. It was quite incredible. See, Yorkie came home second in the end last week in a very, very rain-soaked Brands Hatch. We lost a good 7 drivers in the course of that particular race. So we will see. I'm not really expecting a great deal of attrition here in Laguna Seca, but one thing I am expecting to see is tyre management, not for wear, but for heat. That front right gets very, very hot in two particular places as well. On the as we watch Yorkie, he's going to come through that left knee. He's obviously on an outlap, so he's not pushing too hard. So he's going to come up to the corkscrew, and it's the next left-hander at the bottom of the corkscrew that takes a hell of a lot out of that front right tyre. Front right tyre, sorry, not front left. No, my mistake. This corner here takes a hell of a lot because it's actually quite a long corner, and you're taking it around about third gear. Of course, Yorkie's now going to back off to give himself some space, allow a few people through, and the next one that takes a lot of life out of the sides is actually the corner that Yorkie's about to come up to, the final turn. It's a very heavy braking zone down to second gear into this turn, and again that can really spark up the tyres, but all down to setup as well and how hard they push through that particular turn. But yeah, anyone with a shorter gear ratio is really going to start paying dividends here.
Yeah, indeed. So you can see a few lap times having come onto the board already. 10 times on the board. You mentioned we had 21 drivers in the field today, and it's quickly coming in. 12 drivers now having set time. Popsu provisionally on pole position by 5,000
of a second
over Johan. He has to mention about Johan, obviously. Out of the 4 races so far, he's been disqualified twice because of track limits, and I think if he hadn't done that, he would have been up there with Vernix fighting for that championship. But unfortunately, in championship battle terms, Vernix has a pretty healthy lead. Down in 6th so far in the qualifying, but obviously plenty of time to go. Gronstra sitting 5th at the moment in his newfound Ginessa, coming back out of the pits after his first run. Any other interesting names? I think it's pretty much what we've been used to so far in the top 6 at least.
Indeed, but still another 10.5 minutes to go, so plenty of time for that to change, and I fully expect it to change quite a lot. Where is Maisie in that Audi? He is at the bottom, so he is coming through. Oh, you've got to be careful there. Going, and he invalidated his time. I thought so. The corner cut, or the corner extend penalty is really, really strict at that particular point. I invalidated quite a number of laps earlier there. At that very point, you just go that little bit too far, you kick up a bit of dust, and bang, your lap has gone. That is it. I suspect that's part of the reason why Maisie is currently down there on a 1:38 at the present time. Lemon Lambo, there he is.
Yay! We're still there.
We still have our Lemon Lambo. Got to mention Junior as well in 1 and 2 McLarens. He had a fairly good day in the office last week in Brands Hatch, but it's not. He's had a very mixed season. He started well. He joined us in Algarve, I believe, but crashed out of that particular race. So he wasn't with us at the beginning of the season. There is Stu in the other McLaren. He is currently 3rd. Stu generally is towards the sharper end of the field that we have seen. He's generally the one upsetting the Ferrari list as he's getting off course. He's only 1.5 tenths off a Popsu at the moment. Big old wheel spin there to get off the mark.
It's like almost like a practice start going on there. Although you don't really need it because it's a rolling start for the race, but he was really going at it in the.
There's one of our only Mercedes. That is Mr. Glassens in the black Merc. Now, he was reporting he was finding. This is obviously post-patch. A lot of things have changed. A lot of setups are no longer viable for some people. So, Glassens is waiting for Stu to get out of the way. Most people on track at the moment. I'm not entirely surprised. Glassens really was struggling with how the Merc now feels in this post-patch era, so to speak. Maisie is now back up. He's improved his lap. He improved his lap on his outlap. That shows you how badly that actually went. Another thing to bear in mind is that this track is quite wide. If we go to this camera, the track is actually quite wide. It allows for a number of different lines to be taken and several key areas. It really shows. These particular corners, there's only one real way to do it. But in the first turn, for instance, that double apex left-hander, you can either take the apexes very, very tight, because there's not a great deal of straight between that and the next turn, turn 3, or you can take a much wider entry to get a faster exit. So again, personal preference and setup will be what dictates that. And again, here at the corkscrew, there's a couple of different ways to take this. You can either take, let's see how Maisie's done. Now he's gone deep into the corkscrew and taken that right apex out. So you find there's no right or wrong way. Well, there's wrong ways to do it. There's no.
There are many wrong ways. Many wrong ways.
But you can, for instance, you can keep to the apex, the first apex in the corkscrew, the one on the left-hand side, to take a smoother exit off of the corkscrew instead of going over it, essentially, as Maisie did, which is very, very bumpy and can unsettle the car. Let's just see what Maisie does here. He has set a 124.0. We have a new positive. It's Johan by 0.02 of a second.
Jesus! So it's improved by 7 thousandths, and those 7 thousandths
that's made the difference.
Position, yeah. God, this is crazy close between you and Popsu at the moment, which is what I'd like
where
to
our
see.
Janetta is. He's stuck it in fourth with a 1/100th of a second slower than the McLaren in third of Stu. Oh, that is close.
That's very close in the top four. Liking this so far. Vernox further 5/10 behind, so that's a big old gap there, but he's close with James at the moment. And Morvik, One Tire, Tipple, Andrex also not too far off those guys. So it's a couple of small groups. Yeah, it's like the top four, then you have 5th down to 10th, and then you have the rest basically. There's three groups forming, yeah.
Now, for the 4 drivers at the bottom, Nismo, Yorkie, Colonel McCoy and Mickersby, we don't know where they are, and we won't know until the qualifying is done. Whoops, Morvik is slightly wide in his McLaren on the exit of the pit lane, which is far easier to do than it sounds. This is a hell of it. It's hellishly tight getting out of that pit lane, especially if you're trying to do it in a hurry. There's Jeff and the other black Merc. Look at that, the 2 black Mercs are 16th and 17th. That rather highlights what Claessens was saying earlier about the Mercs feeling very, very... And to be honest, when I was trying them, they did feel very clumsy. They just did not seem to want to kind of bite in as much as you would normally expect. But then there's, like we said earlier, there's no big straights for the mighty roar of that Merc to get underway. It's just all twisty bits, which doesn't suit the Merc well. We've just lost a driver. It's Nismo we have just lost from the... well, he was already in the timing,
but... those that had already dropped once already.
Indeed. A few people closer... Oh, that's someone getting out Popsy's way. I suspect... Is that you, Han? It is indeed. And Morvik has got...
Oh, Stu's on pole now.
Whoa! What a time! Nearly breaking that 122. He's put nearly 2/10 on the two of Johan and Popsy. Very nice.
Wow. So I wonder then...
Oh, big cluster of cars.
Yeah, God, everyone's on the same piece of track here, it seems. Through the middle sector at the moment. Johan coming up to the corkscrew, a corner which I've had many nightmares of throughout my racing time. And he's had to go kind of very far to the inside there. Maybe put off a little bit by that white... So that was Popsu, wasn't it?
That's Popsu, yeah, in the white colour. So he's running a custom livery. He's getting out...
mind games between the rivals so far, potentially there. Didn't look like the ideal line for Johan into the corkscrew, but we'll see if he will improve on his time. Andrex currently in 10th position, and yeah, just starting a lap now, I guess.
It wasn't who I was aiming for, it was that man I was actually aiming for, Andreas Hayder, and doesn't choose to complete that particular lap. Probably found he was already down. Where is Popsy? So he was just crossing the line, so we've just seen him going through, 13 seconds down. Let's follow a lap with Popsy, winner from last time out. Wide entrance. Now he's going for the tight staying tight to both apexes on turn 2 as opposed to going wide and then getting a faster exit from those 2 apexes. Absolutely fine. Right-hander at turn 3, down to second gear. He's taking a fair bit of grass on the inside, a little bit risky, but it does help rotate the car. Now third gear for turn 4. Fairly nice and simple, but it is easy to run too wide. He's already a 10th down though, so he won't be happy with that. Down to third for 5th. Down to third for 5th. Let's try that sentence again. For turn 5. Now uphill. This is a blind left-hander here. It's so easy to throw it too wide, and because you're taking that speed uphill as well, you can lose a lot of time compared to how long that straight actually is. Now up to the corkscrew. He's gained. Only 2200ths down. This looks like the line that's quite a few drivers are taking, that they're staying close to that right-hand apex. Now this awkward corner, Rue feels really clumsy, turn 9, takes it fairly well, back down to third, take the apex early, And he's catching up to quite a few people. That is, I suspect that's Johan already ahead of him. He's not close enough to cause us trouble. Ooh, Tail kicking out. Tail getting very unhappy. And now to the line. Does Popsu improve? Answer is no. 1.5 tenths down. 2.5 minutes of qualifying to go.
Well, yeah, that was a nice little lap guide there at this very tricky circuit, as Popsu just proved out Lewis was actually going back to the pits again. So, wanting some fresh rubber on that car. 2 minutes to go, as you mentioned. Johan now, he of course is the only driver apart from Vernox who has taken the pole position this season. Vernox took pole for the first 3 rounds, then Johan took it last week in the rain at Brands Hatch. So far, Stu is on course to make that 3 different pole drivers this season, but Johan definitely will want to do something about that, you would have thought. Let's see how he navigates the very fast left-handed out. That looked pretty sweet to me, and then up towards the corkscrew once again, this time with no car as a distraction, and he can take a nice kind of line in the middle of the track there. Oh no, that's a big distraction. That's the Mercedes backwards. Oh, he had to completely back out of the lap there because of that.
It's Jeff. Oh no,
messed that one up. Oh there, that's Johan's not going to be too pleased about that. But
and that's yeah, he's not going to have time now to come out. So Riker Gordon's called it a day, and his white Mercedes didn't really see much of him. There goes Perry Gruntz's little Janetta, and we've just seen that's Stu, or no, that's got to be Morvik that's jumped into the spot, into the pits. He's done in 6th position. Fair play. It's 1:22.8. Nick Meadow in the Lemon Lambo is done for the day as well. Maisie is still out there in the Audi. He's currently 15th with that 1:23.9. Vernox is getting close to someone. Oh, Vernox has just jumped up to 5th position in the Tiger Ferrari with a 1:22.4. So an improvement for him. Still 4 tenths off the top time by Stu in the McLaren. Stunning stuff. I want to keep an eye on. Now, I found the Audi very, very edgy, very twitchy. So we'll see how Maisie does. Does he improve? He does in time and jumps up to 13th place.
That's really what he needs, though, if he wants to put the pressure on Vernox for him to, I don't know. Basically, but Maisie needs to outscore Vernox by 5 points to keep the championship alive. I'm not sure he's really thinking about that, though, because of the big gap.
Indeed.
But for us it would be fun.
But all it takes is one mistake. I mean, we saw that. We saw that 2 weeks ago, particularly at Algarve. I mean, Vernox had a terrible day. He was 8th in the end, classified 8th. And there was a few precision changes due to disqualifications and what have you. But I mean, he had a terrible day, and this track being so twisty. Whoa, that's not how you do the corkscrew. That'll be his day done then. So, and you can pick up engine damage doing that, just because of the undulation of the ground. The front right wheel will actually take off, and if you hit it too hard, you actually hit the deck with the nose. So you can hurt the car. Stu, where is he? He's getting buried away. He is coming through turn 3.
Maybe check on Popsu, because he's the sort of main challenger, I would say, to Stu now for that pole position. And he's only got
2 turns. 2 turns left. So he's just come through turn 10. Now send it out wide. We obviously don't know what split, how he's doing split time. Do not run onto that AstroTurf. That will invalidate your lap. Now straight line towards the line. Does he improve? He does. He's second.
So close.
So he's ahead of you. And now, where's Stu? He's still in pole. He's coming up to the corkscrew. He looked very unsettled. There, you saw. Oh dear. And that is. Whilst going through that line, as most people were doing, is quicker. That's the risk you take. The car is very unsettled when it hits the ground.
I think that was just his pole position celebration there.
Yeah, it could have been. And that was Yorkie coming over the line. We have absolutely no idea where Nismo, Yorkie, Colonel McCoy, and Mickersby are. And they'll be returning to the pits then, as Colonel McCoy is the only one on track in that minty M6, or Falcon coloured M6. I assume that he's just going to have a bit of a practice, or he's AI control, but he's the last one on track. So this is your confirmed qualifying positions, obviously except for that bottom 4.
Yep. So I guess we're going to start going through it then. Stu on pole position by a mere 35 thousandths of a second. Very impressive indeed. Popsu will be second with that lap time. We saw Johan in a third. Grandstraw in his first race with the Janetta is in 4th. Then Vernox, James Morvik, Tipple, one tire, and Andrex running up the top 10. Andreas Hayter, Junior, Maisie, Rhaegar, Nick Minito, Jeff, and Clausensen. The Mercedes guys are really struggling there at the back. And then, of course, Nismo, Yorkie, Colin McCoy, and Mickersby have also presumably set lap times, but we, unfortunately, because of that glitch with the timings. When they have rejoined the session after it launched, we will not see their positions. Although we will, once we finally get to see the grid, we will get to see where they are.
I want to say it's the heavier cars, but the weights are actually fairly similar. So let us see then. So it was actually Claessens and Jeff. The back two are Mercs. Colonel McCoy, Mick Kisby is in the red Ferrari. They're in 18th position.
Nismo at 15th. And Yorkie in 9th.
My interface is doing something strange, so that's why I'm stuck at the moment. I think that's... I don't think that's game problem. I think that is my rig problem. Yes, my steering wheel had turned over to the left.
Oh, that's
so we're now just waiting for anybody to go through any kind of last-minute changes. So Stu does indeed have that pole position, with Popsu second, Johan third, Perry Gronstra fourth, Vernox 5, James 6, Morvik 7, Tipple in 8th. Yorkie is there in 9th, so he was one of the 4 affected by the timing. But one tyre rounds out the top 10. Andrex just behind his BMW brethren, Andreas Hayder in 12th, Junior in the Black McLaren in 13th, Maisie 14, Nismo 15, Rygo 16, Nick Meadow 17, Mickersby 18, Colonel McCoy 19, as I mentioned earlier, Jeff and Claessens 20th and 21st.
Very, very unusual sight there at the back. We all think back. Just how times have changed since round 1 at Imola, when the Mercedes were just flying past everyone, and now the 2 Mercedes drivers are right there at the back of the field. But we of course now get ready for the manual rolling start procedure. All these 21 drivers will eventually start rolling off the grid. The lights are out right there, and then they will chill out for a few more seconds, and then Stu shall lead the field away. There he goes, in the McLaren on pole position, the 3rd different pole sitter this season, apart from Johan and Vernox. And just like last week, the only other time Vernox was not on pole position, he qualifies in P5. It'll be interesting to see the progress of Grunter in that Ginetta. The first time this season. And
it looks tiny. It is. It just looks so small compared to everything else around it. But as Perry's just proven, it is a quick little fella here. Looks like he was trying to size up Johan for an overtake already. It's premature there, sir.
Very eager.
Yeah.
So, of course, on a pure qualifying pace, Grunter has done a really good job in that Ginetta so far. Race pace, of course, as always, could be a little bit different, but so far, so good. Just want to say hello to the guys who have joined us in the Twitch chat. I'm not going to mention everyone's name because I have to scroll very far up, I think. But nice to see a lot of you there and discussing various things about the games and whatnot. So yeah, hope you're all excited for a 42 laps overall, 41 laps of racing, plus this one formation lap. And let's see, can everyone navigate the corkscrew this close together, even at slow speed? So that's going to be the main tricky corner.
It was a good thing they didn't put the formation point before the corkscrew. That would be a definite challenge. Going two-way teeth.
Which actually is right here, I think, just after.
Yes.
So this is where they should be lining up in a 2x2 formation, as they're just about starting to do here. And of course a couple more corners before we shall get some racing underway.
Johan gently trying to get the last bit of heat into his tyres. Ooh, steady, Perry. I mean, these are people obviously doing getting some heat into the brakes. That's why they will shoot forwards and then slow down very suddenly. Perry choosing this moment, apparently the only person to get some more heat to his tyres. Stu's a little bit eager to get underway. So, and the camera's actually lost. Doesn't help. So, at any point from now, Stu can floor it. They are in the acceleration zone, and there he goes. We are racing here at Laguna Seca.
So Stu leading the field out of the first corner, and it's pops under pressure from Johan immediately. Johan taking that inside line for the corner, can then nail the first braking, though pops a little bit out wide, and another car as well. That's James very far out. Oh, and Grunter never loses it on the inside. Also back in Vernox up a little bit, which slots James back into P5. Pops still losing out to Johan in the end as well for second place. Very close. Oh, and Grunter is partly on the gravel. A big wiggle again on both of the first two corners so far. He is in P6, just about holding on from Tipple, who also puts a couple of tires there in the gravel. Very hectic start and a few position changes, but at least it's all been pretty much clean.
Vernox is snuck through into that 5th position due to the mistake from the Ginetta we'd just seen. That's Morvik getting interested in that Falcon BMW ahead of him. He's got another pair of... no, that's Yorkie that was getting a little bit wide on that turn 6. Very, very easy to do as they now come into the corkscrew for the first racing lap. Oh, and again, you can see how the nose of that McLaren just bounces off the floor. Is that Yorkie going very wide? Yeah, he had a... Oh no, beg your pardon, there's Andrex that's had trouble.
So Andrex is he ahead of Yorkie then?
No, behind.
That's Yorkie ahead, yeah, so Yorkie is just there ahead of him. There's a bit of a gap there forming ahead of Andrex actually. So Andrex having a few little problems, but he's up one position though from where he started up to 10th. In the race as Andreas Hayter there, I think losing out to one tire, and it's nearly 3 wide now. Behind one tire, going down the straight, but I think they managed to get that sorted out.
So the camera gets lost on that last corner. Yeah. Oh, Stu's lost the lead. Look at that. Johan's managed to go on the inside after turn 2. So the McLaren was actually 3/10 ahead when they started the lap. And now Johan's managed to slip through. So the McLaren's obviously had a trouble and that double apex turn 2. He's now got Popsu all over the back of him. And James is actually second back from this pack. You can see him in the background there. So James isn't having a good time. And that's Popsu having a look on the inside. Goodness me, Stu, where is his pace gone?
Good question. He must have, I assume he would have run deep then at turn 1 because he lost those 3 seconds very suddenly. And all of a sudden, as we switch back on board, Johan was ahead. And now Popsu getting so much on the straights, going to take the inside. Do they really want to go side by side through the corkscrew? Popsu very late on the mistake, manages to get his toe down. Stu being very cautious there, just letting him go through. Does not want any side action through there. Probably a wise decision, but this battling is allowing Johan to pull a
penalty for Nick Meadow.
Oh, and Nick Meadow's off the track at the corkscrew there. That,
a 2-second penalty for Nick Meadow, I think.
Could be a little bit costly potentially there.
Oh, Andreas Hayter's also got a 2-second penalty. Oh
yeah,
dear.
Good to know, very early penalties. At least not the most harsh penalties, but if they're going to stay as close to as this to the cars throughout the race, then it might end up being costly. But Nick Meadow then running in 15th, I believe, at the moment, if you count Yorkie being somewhere ahead of him.
Yeah, that camera gets really lost. It starts looking at the wrong car. There's that.
We had this to Project Cars 1 as well, didn't we?
Yeah, we did. Oh, and that's Junior running deep into... But that could actually be... There was what I was talking about. Instead of taking the apexes tight, Junior's just actually demonstrated how to go deep into turn 2 and cut back for a faster exit on that second apex. So that's a perfect demonstration that we've just seen.
Oh, Gronstor's dropping positions. Gronstor's down to 9th and 11th and 12th and 13th. Where is Gronstor gone? Oh, my timings anyways dropped completely.
Oh, there he is! So
he is having a horrible time in the gravel.
Oh, what a shame. He was doing so well up in 4th position and now finds himself plumb last.
Well, it was already looking really shaky already right at the start of the race, and the first 2 corners wiggling all over the place, and I guess he probably just lost the car there.
Let's jump back up to our lead then. Johan leads the way by 1.5 seconds over Popsu. Stu in 3rd in the red McLaren, so the top pack have now spread out. Vernox in 4th, James just behind in a 5th position. Tipple in the lead. M6 is not far off the back of James either. That is the wrong battle. The camera is well and truly lost. That's the wrong M6. That is... There we go. It's picked it up. So the camera seems to get completely lost, unfortunately, from turn 11. So apologies for that.
Looking at Tipple, so that's good.
I was looking at the Falcon BMW. It was just looking at the wrong one. For me, anyway. So if it works for you, then absolutely fine. There is Andrex in at 7th position in the next M6. He's falling a little bit behind Tipple. He's got Morvik directly behind in the next red McLaren. One tyre has got a fairly decent train. That's Andreas Hayter, Mady, and Nick... No, not Nick Meadow. It'll be Nismo. It will indeed be Nismo. So Nismo will be 12th, I think.
I think that makes it 12th, yeah, and then actually 13th if you count Yorkie.
Oh, Yorkie's in there as well, isn't he? Yes. So, yeah, this is where it starts to get really confusing. So, Yorkie's on the back of Morvik, I think that is. Yes, it is.
Yeah,
so, Yorkie's in 9, and Nismo, therefore, is in 13th, as you said.
Yeah, indeed. Oh, my... What is going on here? Oh, my God, it's 3 wide through the corkscrew. I've never seen it.
Oh, my God!
Andreas Hayter massively losing out. There's Nismo and Macy both go through. Unbelievable scenes there.
Holy moly, how on earth did they not just end up in a very big pile of Twisted Metal. That was incredible driving by all of them. Yes, Andreas Hayder lost those 2 positions. Nismo is nailed to the back of the Audi as again, the camera's lost. So that, wow, looking at the timings at the front, Johan still has 1.5 seconds, and then 2 seconds down is Stu. That's the Stu from that's the view rather from Stu. Look at the lead Ferraris; they are away, but it's early days, still plenty of time to go. And also, Stu is he's maintaining about 8/10 or so from Vernox, so Vernox not quite in a position to attack. James roughly that a little bit further back from Vernox. Was that 7/10 or so? 8/10. So maths failing me. There we see Tipple. So they're spacing out relatively well at the front. Whoops, we see Tipple going wide at turn 6. It's very easy to do, and that's actually going to cost him quite a bit of time. That is... yeah. He had a slowdown penalty. Yeah, and that's allowed Yorkie to... No, beg your pardon, that's Andres. Andres is
ahead of Yorkie, okay.
Yes, so they've swapped around.
Andres at P6, that's very impressive. He started in, was it 11th, I believe?
It was outside of the top 10, certainly.
Andres gets 5 positions there in the first 5 laps. Did I just see
that was a braking ball. There was a bit of braking ball that flew through this shot, yeah. Camera's looking off into the hills again. Look at that.
That's going to help, though. I know how horrendously annoying it can be when people take up braking balls, especially in the race.
And James...
These guys are driving without a racing line as well.
And it looks like the 3 ahead are really bunching up now. So Stu leads Vernox, leads James. I'm trying to get James. There we go. This is about half a second between the 3. This could allow Andrex. Andrex is about 2.5 down from this particular battle. He's not long ago past Tipple, as we saw. If they're going to snarl up, that's going to bring the M6 right into this battle.
Yes, indeed. So, the McLaren pace, is it an indication that Stu, while it could match the Ferraris in the qualifying, maybe does not quite have the race pace, or his setup was more towards a low fuel running?
Could be.
But yeah, Pops are definitely just running away at the moment.
Yeah, but again, if that's the case from Stu, watch him later on in the race. But again, we don't know. I mean, like I said earlier, the M6s for me were quite a bit quicker than the rest of the field, so they could come alive on the lighter fuel as well. And Vernox is concentrating more on keeping James behind, which is perfectly understandable. I think Andrews is actually closing in a bit on this particular battle on board with the M6. Let's just see the lap times then. 23.4 from Johan, 23.8 from Popsy, 24.4 from Stu and Vernox. Stu and Vernox, to the thousandths of a second, had the same lap time last time around. 24.2 for James and 24.1 from Andrex. So he is a couple of tenths quicker than the Merc and Ferrari at the head of that 3-car train. So he is reading them in ever so slightly. Morvik's got a penalty. Morvik has himself a penalty now. It's Nick Meadows' penalty's gone up to 7 seconds.
1 second for Morvik.
Not really much of a penalty, let's be fair, but Nick Meadows has managed to get himself 7-second penalty now.
Wow. And so for me it says Stu and Bergs had exactly the same time actually. Very impressive actually. Macy, running in 11th then.
I think we'll be 11th with Yorkie ahead of him.
That's the battle for the top 10 spot with
Worn Tyre.
Getting very close, maybe getting a run out towards the course. You're going to see more side-by-side action through there, as if the 3 wide before wasn't enough. No, Macy's not quite close enough. As Worn Tyre managed to get that slowed down nicely. A bit of the apex there for Macy, but it does so well and good. If you manage to get through the course 2 without spinning, I think usually you tend to be quite happy.
Andreas Hayder has got a lot of company here from Junior in the black McLaren, so he's having to defend it fairly hard. And Nick Meadow in the lemon Lambo has got Jeff already ahead of him. And Claessen's, I saw he had a 1:32 actually last time around. Let's just check on where our no time people are. Mickus B is back here, I think. Yes, he is. He's just taken that last. So that's Rigor ahead of him. So what's happening? Where's Yorkie? So Yorkie is coming through turn 4. So that's Tipple ahead of him. So Yorkie is in 8th position at the moment. Nismo is coming up behind. That is Rigor. Oh dear!
He's not coming up behind anyone anymore. I think that's the
And
disconnection.
it's disconnection, yeah. So as we were looking at him, I managed to commentators curse him even out of the race. Oh
Oh,
no!
that's Stu! Stu
No,
has dropped it!
No, it's Morvik! It's Morvik! He's dropped it at turn 4!
I forgot that they were teammates. I thought you had only one. Red McLaren. Ferrari wanted to be McLaren, but yeah, Morvik.
Yeah.
He was running in 8th, wasn't he?
They're 9th, yeah, he was 8th or 9th.
Pretty solid position.
That's Colonel McCoy. That's Colonel McCoy that's just gone past him. So
all the way down, out of the points even.
oh, what a disaster for Morvik. So yeah, the only reason I'm trying to keep an eye on where our no-time drivers are is just to kind of cement in my mind where they are on track. Oh damn it! Does your camera face off to the hills right now?
No, it's watching Yorkie, so that's all good.
See, for me, it's actually it sits at the start-finish line facing the corkscrew, so I just got a big hill in the way. So it works for you, that's fine. So it's a problem on my side, I can live with that. So that is Tipple and Andrex directly ahead of Yorkie, as we can see. So Yorkie is therefore in 8th position. Mickisby, I think, is further down the field than that. That's Rygor, so that is 16th position for Mickisby. Kenna McCoy is not a clue where he's just coming on the start-finish line with, as we saw, Morvik already behind him.
Yeah.
So I think that's 18th or thereabouts. Where is Claessens? On his own, completely on his own. He is just
must have pitted, yeah. He's so far back that he must have had a pit stop already.
Yeah, he's just having a very lonely race there at the back of the field.
Yeah, so that's P20. 20 cars remaining after Nismo, unfortunately, dropped out. Worth pointing out, yeah, the front, the gap has gone down to under a second now. Last lap is 6 tenths quicker for Popsu over Johan, who dropped back into the 24s, actually. Not the best lap for him, but let's see what it's going to be this time around. 8 tenths is the gap at the moment. Johan is going to do a 3.9, and so is Popsu.
5,000's in it. Wow, but
very close pace on the front.
5 seconds back, Stu. He is really falling off, and he was actually slightly quicker. Look at that! All the top 3, 23.9s. So Stu has got the pace in that McLaren. Maybe he's backing off. Again, well, I mentioned earlier that a big time management problem here is heat as opposed to wear. So it could be that he's trying to keep that under control. James is in 4th. Andrik's there in 5th. He is right with James now. What, second separate team. He's actually got ahead of Vernax. So whilst we're looking away, Andrix is up to 5th position. Junior is in the pits. We have a pit there of Junior. Can't really see what's going on with that particular car.
I can see it, it's fine. And there we go.
Because my camera's gone to Colonel McCoy, so I'm glad yours is working okay.
Junior with a lovely pit crew, actually. They've done some tyre work, but at the moment they're just doing absolutely nothing, and it's just sitting there.
Oh dear.
In his box, so we're going to go away from that. Junior's clearly having bad time in the pit stop. So back to this lovely train here with Vernax in the middle of Andrix and Tipple. Yeah, we didn't see unfortunately how Andrix got past, but Vernax isn't really at the same level he's been so far this season, I would have thought.
But then he doesn't necessarily need to be. He may realise he's going for he doesn't have to challenge for the silly moves. He pushing a little bit too hard in Algarve really cost him dearly. So it could be that he's just thinking the longer game, and we'll see how that pays out for him. As he stays 7 tenths back from Andrex, 9 tenths ahead of Tipple. So yeah, pretty much right in the centre of the particular battle. There's James. James only has 7 tenths on Andrex, so this train is catching that blue Ferrari, and we could well see an M6 yet again in the podium positions.
Would be interesting indeed, and would legitimise your practice session over. The wheels feeling really good. But,
back onto the front, Johan got himself 3 tenths. Sorry, to cut you off there, Fizzy. So 3 tenths back on the lead then for Johan, or judging by the lap times alone. But again, Stu is pretty much matching Popsu's. Gap's sitting at about 6 seconds. Maybe this is why I'm wondering is whether people are going to have to focus on tyre management more than outright pace.
Could really be the case. And the temperature management as well. But
keeping an eye on this.
Not really any rush for Pops, as long as he can keep up with you at this stage of the race, as long as he's touching distance in the closing stages.
Oh, Andres is getting very interested in that blue Ferrari. That battle is going to get very, very tasty very, very soon. And that's Stu, you see, about 2.5 ahead of the blue Ferrari.
Yeah.
So Andrex is really lining up. He gained 7 tenths in that last lap alone. So
wow, that's really good pace from Andrex, who is actually only a tenth of the leaders at the moment.
yeah. Oh, look at how close. He's had a much better line through that double apex turn 2. He's going to go slightly wider at turn 3. The tail kicks out slightly there, losing a bit of momentum. But it's a bit of a tighter line through 4. You saw James run slightly wide. That will cost the Ferrari that little bit of momentum. So there's a bit of nip and tuck at the moment. Andrews is going to have to pick his time well. Oh, now he's going to try and pressure for a mistake into turn 6. Have a think about it on the run up to the corkscrew. Fairly clean by both drivers. So Andrex, look at that, you can still see he's gaining. He's not going to have a dive in the inside of the corkscrew. No, he thought better of that one. So I think Andrex is now sizing up for a move at that last turn 11.
Yeah, he's looking a lot quicker at this stage actually. You can just see on every exit it just seems to just be right up underneath James at the moment. So through these final couple of corners, of course, if he can get a good exit at the final corner, that is the best, the longest straight on the circuit. Is really close to the braking zone. Kind of a wide entry there, with it looked like, and now he has got a decent run. What is the straight line speed difference between these cars? Wonder if there's any slipstream effect as well. It's not really gaining quickly enough for a longer straight on the circuit. It's not actually that long either. And
that's going to get close.
There for James. Underneath goes Andrex, but he just can't bring the momentum with that tighter line on the exit. Yeah, he's really putting the pressure on now, and he runs into the top 4.
Maisie's got himself a penalty now, so we have another red label driver. Look at this. I want to see what...
Oh, he's going to go for it. He's going to pause James to go defensive now through the long left-hander up the hill. He's surely not around the outside. That's not possible, is it?
No, he's going to go for the switch. Yeah, he's going to go for the switchback, but it didn't quite pay off. Didn't quite have the momentum to do it. You can see he's having a look on the inside of turn 6. But he's not pressured James into that mistake. So now up the hill, then he's going to have a dive on the inside of the corkscrews. A little bit too far back for that. So he's now going to bide his time and either force a mistake before the final turn or have a lunge on the inside of turn 11.
Yeah, worth keeping an eye on the gap at the front as well. Actually, it was down to 2 tenths between you and Popsu for a little bit there, but it's just spread out again in the final sector. But yeah, through the middle sector, Popsu was really, really close to you, and I think we probably could go back to Andrex, who at this stage on the previous lap was also close. It's a similar gap this time onto the main straight. But
it's allowing Stu to try and get away as well, although he was actually 2 tenths slower than these two. Yuan and Popsu did at 125 that time, so they've actually lost a second nearly to Stu at that stage.
Problem with each other potentially there.
Possibly.
It's what have been so far 2 seconds slower for Yuan compared to the previous lap.
Yeah, absolutely. Whilst the pretty much 3rd through to 8th are in the 124s, so they've got a comfortable lead to do that for a while, but they can't do that too many times. Andrex again having a look at the outside, heading down to turn 5. But James knows he's got the defensive line. Now the BMW going to try the switch back again. He's a little too close to try it. Well defended there by James. Now he's going to try to get on board again with the M6. So Andrex backing off a little bit.
You don't really want to be side by side through that corner there, because that is really tricky and it's going to cost both drivers a lot of speed going side by side. And same thing, I guess, with it, purely because of how tricky the corkscrew is. Yeah, back into the zone where it can potentially make a move.
I mean, whilst the track is actually quite wide, there's only really a couple of prime overtaking opportunities, and we are coming up to another one then. So he's going to hope James runs wide, which he doesn't. And there's a pretty big braking zone here into turn 11. Ooh, the Ferrari got very squirrely on the exit. Now is a great opportunity. The next prime opportunity for Andrex is into turn 2. So here we comes in. We now go through turn 1. James goes very defensive. Andrex is going to try and string it around the outside. He's gone for a late braking move. It's not quite paid off. James has parked it brilliantly on the apex there, firm but fair. And Andrex is going to have to try again later on. Another penalty now. It is Andreas Hayder. Oh, Jeff. No, Jeff this time has picked up a penalty.
Oh, the penalties are backing up there in the midfield.
Nick Meadows got up to 14 seconds.
Yeah. Jeff only 3 seconds. Oh, and again, James supposed to go defensive from Andrex on that corner for the 3rd lap in a row. This time, Andrex is getting a better cut underneath. Is he actually going to stay side by side? No, he takes better of it through the left-hand kink and manages to both of them putting a little bit of the car in the gravel, but it's managing to keep the momentum nicely. But yeah, I have to say James doing a really good job on defensive placement so far, probably frustrating Andrex quite a bit, but yeah, he's going defensive and every opportunity and not messing up any other braking zones. And yeah, doing a really good job. And as you said, Stu, maybe been given a little bit of a break, but actually, just looking at lap times, he's not costing them too many tenths.
No, not at all. Ooh, we saw Vernox actually in the background there, just getting a little bit squirrely on the exit of turn 10, which is again quite easy to do. I'm surprised to see how many drivers are incurring time penalties, unless of course they're going to go to the stewards. It is possible to have those kind of time penalties, and we've just lost. Oh!
First contact!
I was just thinking we'd lost a driver. I was trying to figure out who it was, and just at the point then there was impact between the Ferrari and the M6. Now side by side, heading through turn 3, but Andrex backs off of that one. Now going to try and cut back on the inside now. Beautiful. Prime opportunity. And there it is. That's the pass done, but can he keep ahead of the Ferrari? He's had the pace for so long. Oh no, he's tipped onto the mud, onto the grass, onto the mud. What am I on about? Now side by side yet again, turn 5. What a move by James, but can he make it stick? Still side by side now, up the hill, heading towards turn 6. Now Fernox is getting interested, so James can't do anything too silly. He's just going to have another Ferrari. What a move by the M6 as well. Brilliantly done, and James is going to lose a position to Fernox.
Oh, is he now? He just about manages to have enough, or short enough straight there to stay ahead. The coach, oh, that looked like a little corner potentially, but unless James slows down, I think that's fine. Yeah, that's really good battling. Andrex had to be patient there, stuck behind James for several laps. But yeah, finally got the move done. Beautiful overtake. And now is James' turn to potentially have to focus on Vernox.
Yeah, James went a bit too deep there into that turn 11, possibly pushing a bit too hard to try and do something to have an answer for Andrex. Then Andrex will have enjoyed that. I'm not sure James would have, but Vernox going for that deep entry into turn 2. It's not really paid off a great deal for him. Now you see Tipple there in the background, so is Andrex now going to be able to get away from the chasing blue Ferrari of James? That is going to be the golden question. The top 2 getting into the 23s again, so Johan and Popsu have turned the wick up again. They're nearly 7 seconds ahead of the red McLaren of Stu now. We haven't seen him for a while, but we may well do with the pace that Andrex seems to have, and you can see there's a gap forming. That gap is already 7 tenths in length between Andrex and James, so it does look like Andrex is going to be pushing for that podium spot.
It does indeed, and I actually just want to put out with regards to Vernox, he's still on course to win the championship with this 6th position. I think actually Johan might move up to be his closest challenger if he stays in first, considering Macy and Yorkie are relatively far down the field compared to what have been many times in the past. Oh, Clausen's having a second pit stop.
And he's out. Clausen's is disconnected. Clausen's is
that's unfortunate. Yeah, Clausen's all the way from qualifying was not having a good time with that Mercedes. Is Jeff still running? Yeah, Jeff is actually.
Yeah, Jeff's still going.
On the top 10.
Oh well, he is 10th,
11,
but yeah,
considering Yorkie's up there. But
actually, we'll double check what Yorkie is. He's just coming down to turn 1. I think Yorkie's had an issue somewhere.
Oh,
that's Colonel McCoy ahead of him. I think it's Tip. No, it isn't. Beg your pardon. That's Tibble ahead of him. So no, he's still in 8th. Beg your pardon.
Good. I'm loving this little train of penalties going on. From
9th down to 13.
All the penalty guys are just congested around the midfield.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, it's the Lambo of Nifmido that is worse off at the moment with that 14 seconds. So the penalties are relatively light as it stands. Gronstra actually catching on this.
Perry is down there in 15th, 16th or so, and he's got... Who's that behind him?
It is a Ferrari, that's all I know.
Is it Mickisby?
It is not
It's Mickisby. Yeah, so therefore, that is... so that will put Perry in 15th, I think. Colonel McCoy is further up the road, so... Nismo's gone.
Is he really?
No, Nismo. We lost Nismo a while ago.
Oh, of course, yeah. Fair play. god, this is so annoying. Anyway,
It is.
let's have a look. Where is our closest battle at the moment? It's actually Yahoo is still closer to Andrex than is Vernax. At the front is still just about a second between you and Popsy. You and having stretched that out a little bit again after having a very slow lap just randomly earlier on. Speaking of not so slow laps, 23.2. That might potentially be the fastest lap. Definitely the fastest lap I've seen when checking lap time so far in this race. So Johan gaining pace at this stage. Popsy still running a really good pace, but not quite able to keep up as it stands. Stu as well in the 23.6s, Andrex as well in the 23.6s, James and Bernex also the other two in the 23s. So the top 6 showing really strong pace, all of them really, but no one can match Johan as it stands. And Tipple falling off this train.
Yeah, Tipple's on his own. I mean, he's 21 seconds back to one tyre, although Yorkie's in that mixture somewhere. There he is, just coming through the corkscrew. So what's that between him and Tipple? 3 seconds, 3 or 4 seconds or so. I'm not very good at judging by eye. But we go to that's what the gap is. Let's have a rough guess here. 3.5 or so between those two BMWs, and then a long way back to one tyre. One tyre's just coming through the corkscrew there.
Oh my goodness me! Andreas into the wall. That's the impact with Jeff there through the corkscrew out of nowhere. Good switch, by the way, on the cameras. Oh my god! And there's more contact. They jumped to Macy, I think, was getting involved on that one. And he's still side by side with the Ferrari of one tyre going side by side now into the final corner. That is the Lambo of Nick as well, trying to get in on the act, and Macy kind of forced to be slow on the exit as the one tyre is parked in the way, and Nick Meadow trying to take advantage, getting the inside line going down the straight, and it's all sorts of madness going down in the penalty train in the midfield. And this is the battle for P10, I believe. Macy trying to break late to hold it running outside, but Nick Meadow managing to get himself into the top 10.
I say Perry Gronstra's in this mixture as well, in that little Ginetta, so he's right on the back of Andreas Hayder, who is on the back of that 5-car train. That is Mickersby, that is also joining the back of this train. What a collection. Look, there's Maisie having another go on the Lambo. Heading into turn 5, doesn't quite make it stick at the moment. I love the fact that the look at that by Perry Gronstra.
Gronstra into the first left-hander side by side through here. Surely he's not going to work. It's both manages to stay 2 wheels on the gravel, but Hayder having to back out as he's nearly off the track there. But yeah, what a move by Gronstra. That is not a place you normally see overtakes.
I love the fact that in amongst all these big powerful cars you could still hear that little Ginetta growling its head off.
Yeah.
Maisie is staying ahead of the Lemon Lambo at the moment. One tyre has actually gotten away a little bit from Maisie, but is he able to? Perry's got a great ringside seat for this lot. Look at this. Andreas Hayder is he's a second back already, so he's lost pace. I think he may well have damage. He's falling off the back of this train. Is Perry going to size up the Lemon Lambo? Maisie's having a look at one tyre on the inside of turn 2. They're going to come together. And Nick Meadow couldn't capitalise on it.
God, Macy getting very feisty there with one time back at him actually up the inside, and Macy's been run out right there, and one time immediately back to Macy now up the inside as well. One time the closest to the door, having none of that, and Jesus Christ, this battle is going on now. Wilson getting a run on the Lamborghini, round the outside. And Nick Meadow actually letting it through there, I think.
Either that or that was an exceedingly late break from the Ginetta there, which is possible. I mean, it's that much smaller. I'm not sure if it's that much lighter than the Lambo, but my God, he just danced around the outside of the Lamborghini. We'll just stick with you for a while, Perry. You seem to have a great action going on around you at the moment.
Yeah, gap at the front, by the way, down to 5:10, so we'll just keep an eye on that. But I think in terms of action at the moment, the main train is down in the midfield. Gronstra's next victim, you have to say, is going to be Maisie.
Oh, he got a little bit snap oversteer then on the exit of turn 10 as they now slow down yet again. Big heavy braking zone into that turn 11. And look how close he already is on the back of that Audi. Oh, what might have been for Perry if he hadn't have had that big spin a few laps ago. He's now jumped on the inside of the Audi, and it looks like Maisie's got absolutely no answer at all. Whoa, no! He's got a...
positions that he gained.
What a shame. It was going so well for a while, but again, he's overcooked it, and the car can't hold on, and that is another pit stop then for... Oh, he's being sat there a while, and his lollipop man wants to let him go, but he's sat still. We just lost somebody else as well. I didn't really
There's
see...
a McLaren over there as well. Is Morvik gone?
Ah, yes, it is. Well spotted. That is indeed Morvik's red McLaren. We are down to 16 drivers now.
Yeah, and Jeff now a lap down as he comes out of the pits, but back to this battle, which is now a two-way again after Gronstra, of course, spun it. If anything, where's Gronstra gone now? Gronstra, did we lose Gronstra?
He's gone. Yeah, he's gone
as well. Oh, that's a shame. In terms of action, at least, because he would have been fun to see him go through this whole pack another time.
Absolutely.
Yeah, Gronstra clearly having enough of that Janessa after half a race there. As we are actually just over halfway distance in this race at Laguna Seca, the penultimate round of the season, which could crown the champion. Vernex in P6 looking well on course for that at the moment, but he is in...
Here we go again.
As these guys, Macy having another run on one tire, going down into the turn 2 technically, braking zone. Ow, and it's very late because these are nuts. It's braking on the gravel as well. Wonta surely cutting underneath on that one grass. But yeah, that was really late from Macy up the inside, as Wonta was kind of on the defensive line already, but somehow he found a space, but that was never going to work with that late braking, and they come out of it in the same order they were already. Mira though, looking to get involved as well. But yeah, this is just unbelievable scenes at the moment in this battle, which is for
10th position. Well, Maisie's listed as 10th. Yorkie's still ahead of him. So indeed, yeah. So this is... Look at this. Andreas Hayder, and that's Mickersby at the back of the train as well. They could start getting involved. There's some damage on the front of the Kaspersky coloured Ferrari. As they now head back up to the corkscrew. We've seen some interesting moves happening there. Maisie falling off the back. Oh no! One tyre again! He's overcooked it. That's not the first time we've seen one tyre overcook it. And the corkscrew has claimed another victim. One tyre now back behind this train.
Oh, they're all dropping out of this train. Just the pressure is just getting too much. There's still 4 cars remaining, actually. Jeez, two cars drop out. Who will be the next? So now it's Nick Miro. He's giving Maisie a lovely bit of rest, though, you have to say, because he was going side by side with one tyre through every single corner, it felt like that. But now he's only have to worry about the Lamborghini behind him. He's going very late on the brakes, but just about getting it slowed down with a bit of a wiggle there in the braking zone. And is that...
That's Mick.
Ferrari?
Yeah, as Andreas Hayder is the Kaspersky one. That's Mickersby. That is
Mickersby, of course.
Mickersby is the red Ferrari there, but who's the one at the back of the pack? That's not Johan, sure. No, it's not. That I'm gonna have to figure out who that is. No, it's not Yorkie. Mickersby is in this train. That much we know. Yeah. But there's a red Ferrari there. Oh, it's one tire. Of course it is. Yeah, he's catching up at the back of the train.
Okay.
It's all calmed down.
Look at Lambo. It's not calming down at all. He's going for the movement of the corkscrew. Is Nick Mito?
Oh my God!
Calm at all. Oh, but Macy's a lot later on the brakes. Nick Mito a little bit cautious there, I think.
Oh!
Macy lightly on the gravel, and Nick Mito's been gifted an opportunity to go through the tire wearing a left-hand turn towards the end of the lap here, and that is P9 for the Lamborghini. So now it's a Lamborghini train all of a sudden. It's gone from a Ferrari train to an Audi train to a Lamborghini train. I don't think we've got too many more options. That's the 2 cars behind. It's Ferraris as well, but Macy's went wide through the front corner. 2 more positions now. It's all gone wrong for the man who came into this race a 2nd place in the championship, but he's now down to 11th place in the race.
Maisie will not be pleased with that at all. Andreas Hayder gets a bit late on the brakes there, right behind Mickersby. Let's now this train seems to be... I was going to say it seems to be settling down. I don't think it actually is at all, but it seems to be swapping around fairly bit. Let's check in with where everybody is. 1.5 seconds near enough separates our top 2. Johan ahead of Pop 2. Stu is 9 seconds down from the lead. He is there in 3rd position, just coming across the line. Andrex can't seem to shake the tail of James. He is there, but well, I see that he's actually now roughly equidistant between Stu and James, 3-ish behind.
He's still running the leader's pace, is Hendricks.
23.6, what a stunning lap. James has got Vernox all over his tail and has been for a while. That is Jeff in the lapped black Mercedes. Tipple is just coming past him with Yorkie directly behind him as well. So those two M6s still crossing swords, but Tipple holding off the white BMW at the moment. Nick Meadow, as we saw, has just resumed the driving position on this particular train that now seems to be spreading out at last. So that is Mickersby in the red Ferrari with Andreas Hayder already behind him, with Maisie not far behind them either, and one tyre about 1.6 down from the Audi. Rygor, we have barely looked at him for a while. It's been a long time, we've barely seen him all race long really. He's 22 seconds down from one tyre. He's down there in 14th position, I think it is. And is that Stu coming up behind him? Yes it is, that's third place Stu, coming to put a lap on him. Where's Colonel McCoy actually? He's the only non-timed driver we haven't seen. He's struggling through
very much by himself.
Yeah, that is... Oh, that's our leaders coming through, so... Yeah,
he's ahead of Rhaegar then at least, so he's somewhere between one tyre and Rhaegar.
I seem to... Oh, and Jeff is in the pits again. That's surely the end of his race. There's Perry's Ginetta. We saw him retire. Another picker... Oh, that is Jess Pickery coming out. He's just rolling his guy. He's had enough. He has had enough. That is a great shame. So Maisie's getting close to Andreas Hayder, so this battle has not resolved itself just yet. That's one tyre you've just seen at the back of the shot, so this train could compress once again, and we've still got 14 or so 15 laps to go.
Yeah, and 15 drivers in the race as well. So everyone who finishes within the is it 90% of the distance to get full points?
I believe it is, yes.
So if these guys just make it to the end, they will be guaranteed at least 2 points at the moment, with our 6 drivers dropping out so far in the race. So Laguna Seca being a pretty tricky circuit for these cars.
Oh, look at the top two, both of them, 123.3 as they come through the last.
And that might... you did the 0.2, didn't you, earlier on? But yeah, that's very close to the fastest times we've seen on all race, although you are dropping 2.9 in this race, which means Popsu actually gained 4/10 on him on this lap, so he's back within a second. But so far this race, he has never been able to get close enough, at least from what we've seen, to really challenge Johan too much. But at least he's still keeping the pressure on and making sure that Johan can not rest whatsoever as they're navigating to the Colin McCoy.
Yes, Colin McCoy, yeah. Oh, hello. Guess who's back on Maisie's case?
One-time racing, good old friend, sir. And this time at the back of the train instead of at the front of the train.
Yeah, they've swapped around quite a bit. Ooh, Vernox and James still having their battle for 5th position. The backroom just saw briefly Tipple's BMW back there. I'm assuming Yorkie's still on the back of it. Oh, Yorkie's ahead of it, actually. Yorkie has actually claimed that 7th position from the Falcon BMW. So we didn't see that happen. But as you can see for yourself, I wonder if Tipple's going to have a crack back at Yorkie. Seems fairly evenly matched as they come through turn 6.
Both the same car as well, of course. There's the BMW M6 versus BMW M6 battle, which is always interesting as well. But yeah, at the moment it does seem like Yorkie has got the upper hand, having made that move. And well, actually I was going to say on the previous laps, but we can't see Yorkie's previous lap.
No, we can't at all. One tyre is definitely reading Maisie in, so Ferrari is bearing down on that Audi. Popsu and Johan still 7/10 or thereabouts apart, and James and Vernox about 1.2 there or thereabouts, roughly the same. Andrix to Stu. Oh, that's a point. We haven't looked at this battle. This is a battle for the podium spot. Andrix has been reeling in 23.4. That's
wow.
Whoa!
Oh, no. Interesting tyre warming there.
Yeah, that's tyre warming and Laguna Seca are not two phrases you would commonly. I suspect what's happened there is that the outer tyres have just gotten a little bit too hot and just did not want to bite. So
Stu had a problem on the previous lap because he did a 25.2, so Andrix gained actually 1.8 seconds on the previous lap, but I expect Stu to gain some back after that little mistake there from Andrix.
But Andrix, yeah, he's down to 2-second gap now. But that, oh, hello, that gap's gone very, very close.
Ooh.
Just seen it. Yeah, it's now 4/10 then in the favour. Oh, don't go too wide. You can so easily spin. You dip onto the grass, you put a little bit too much power on at that turn 10, and the tyres will not hold. They will just spin you out. So let's just see the lap times this time around. 23.7, 23.4, so another 3/10 in Popsy's favour. And that again is the exact pace that M6 of Andrex has been maintaining. So that is quite interesting. We'll see what Andrex is able to do this time around. 24.2, so he still gained half a second on Stu that time around though.
Yeah. Popsy versus Yuan as well is in the battle in the championship pretty much, because the Yuan is P5 in the championship, Popsy 6 to 8 points between them. So in terms of championship positions, that's also a pretty crucial one.
Warm Tyres made a mistake on the last lap. He did a 27, but look at that. He's right with Maisie now. So Maisie's made a mistake somewhere, but even still, they're still on the back of those two Ferraris of Andres Hayder and Mickersby. So this Nick Meadow has gone. He has completely left these guys for dead. He's about 3.5 seconds. There he is down the road. So the Lemon Lambo safely there in 9th position. So this is a battle for 10th. As Yorkie, beg your pardon, that is 9th, as Yorkie is ahead of them. Mickersby is actually at the head of this particular wrong car. That's the one I was aiming for. One tyre, sizing up the move on the Audi. Oh, here they go again! Side by side into 2.
Oh. Very wide line for Maisie. Can he make that stick actually? Oh, will be slightly pushed into the gravel as well.
We know Warm Tyre is not going to give it any quarter. I thought he was going to have a switch back on the inside there, but the Audi just managed to defend off that Ferrari for now. I don't think that battle is done by a long shot. No, he's already going defensive.
Alan Bornock's thinking about that inside and forcing Maisie to place his car in the middle of the track there. Maybe a little bit of show as to whether Warm Tyre was actually going to go for it. As surely he's not going to go for his hair, because that's barely a braking zone into the kink. So if you can get a good run. So now we got a duo battling here. Also the duo between ahead of them as well. Hayder. Hayder was close to a car I saw.
Hayder is the Kaspersky Ferrari.
That must be a lapped car maybe. Okay, fair enough.
So that's Mickersby directly ahead of.
Of course, yeah, that's Mickey's, because we can't see him.
Indeed, yeah. So Mickersby is in. Again, I've got to work this out. So Yorkie is up ahead of Tipple. So Yorkie's 7, which means Andreas Hayder is 10th. So Mickersby is then in 9th position. Yes. So yeah, because Nick is. Goodness me! This is where it gets so damn confusing.
Yeah.
Oh, speaking of which, Andreas Hayder having a look on the inside of Mickersby there. As Warm Tyre still, it looks like he's struggling to keep up with the Audi in certain places, and then you just see him all over the back of the Audi. As that is that Stu coming up behind them? No, because Stu and Andrex, oh my god, they're half a second apart. So that M6 is looking to keep the pressure on. He's gained another 2/10 that time around. All three, the top 5, as top 6 rather, top 7. How many more of them in that 123?
Well, now doing a 23.4. I don't know.
Yeah. So we can assume that.
Yorkie's doing.
Oh, Yorkie's behind Tipple now. Yeah.
Oh god, they've been battling. We can't see on the timings when they're battling, which is really annoying.
Yeah. So it's Yorkie is 8, Nick is 9, Mickersby is 10. So Mickersby is 10th. Right, just remember that fact of this particular train. My little brain can't handle any more than that. Oh, Andrex has lost a bit of time on Stu there. That's now back up to 8/10 that particular battle. So Vernux and James are still locked in battle as well. Actually, not too far down the road from Andrex and Stu. So I wonder if that's going to compress into a 4-car train. We have 10 laps to go.
Let's try to work out at the moment whether Vernux still will win the championship, because actually Yuan is on 61 points going in this. He's going to gain 35, so he's going to go up to 96. If Vernux stays 6, he'll get 17, which puts him to 135. So it's obviously a big gap, but will he secured it, which he just about will by a margin of 5 points or so?
But what's the gap? What's the gap Tipple to Vernux? 3.5. It's doable. Not at that pace. There was only 1/10 between them. So
yeah, you basically need Tipple and Yorkie both to pass Vertex, I think, for him not to win the championship today. But even so, he will have a big gap going into next week.
oh, Maisie's lost a position to one tyre. I just realised their names are swapped round. So the Ferrari has managed to muscle its way past the Audi, but the Audi's not allowing it to go.
Oh, that's an awkward corner there. And sorry about that, Bransky. Sorry, I've not been able to pay too much
Oh, you see, Popsy got the corkscrew all wrong. It looked like he was really scruffy coming down the corkscrew there. He's lost a good, let's say about half a second on race leader.
Look at his previous time though.
23.1.
That's the fastest lap I've seen in the race.
Ah, absolutely. I haven't seen any 1:23.2s. But that's going to lose him a bit of time as Maisie is getting out of the way royally of these guys coming through. But
yeah, Maisie's dropped 5 seconds to one tyre from getting lapped out.
Yeah, I mean, you saw him going very slow on that straight between 10 and 11. So the Audi doing well to keep out of the way, and actually both the leaders in the 124s, but I think we can attribute that to having to navigate their way through the back markers. One tyre is next for race leader Johan, who's already got onto Andreas Hayder's case. So we'll see if Andreas is able to keep up a fight against one tyre with race leader Johan coming through. Stu's in trouble!
Oh!
Stu's down in 7th!
Oh! What's going on there?
He's behind Yorkie. He's made a mistake somewhere. He's got had a 135.
Oh my god.
Yeah, he's 8th. We didn't see the incident. He's had a 135 last time around. He lost 12 seconds in the last lap. Oh, that'll do it.
Yeah, he must have had a big spin. I mean, I can't see any damage on
Oh
his
no, there's another one.
Again. Stu is he must have lost the tyres.
I think, yeah, he's cooked his tyres and they're just not cooling down, which is the big problem here. So as Popsy starts to reel in Johan again. So that puts this man Andrex into a pretty comfortable 3rd position. He's 11 seconds down from the lead with, less than 8 laps to go. He's going to need a big problem for the lead 2 to happen for Andrex to capitalise on it and get the win, obviously. But he is going to have really enjoyed that podium spot. And he is about, my timers have gone cuckoo because I'm looking at the wrong car. He's about 5.3 ahead of James. So Andrex has just got to basically mind his own business as he catches up with, I assume it's Colonel McCoy. Yes, it is. Oh, get out of the way, Colonel McCoy. It's really awkward along there to actually get out of the way without sending yourself off the road. There he goes. He's pulled over to allow the white M6 through. Nice and respectful. One tyre has already gotten ahead of Andreas Hayder. And
probably worth to stay with him then if he.
He's actually getting a slipstream off of Popsu.
Oh, no, that's the leader side. Yeah, that's the leader side. Yeah.
So I'm assuming. Where's Mickersby go? Oh, Mickersby's had a problem. He's right at the back of that particular train. Oh no, he hasn't. I beg your pardon. No, that's the race leader's coming up behind him. I beg your pardon. Oh, I really hate. This is why this timing bug needs to be fixed. Yeah. It makes this so hard to commentate on. But yeah, so one tyre's actually Mickersby's quite a way behind.
In 10th, and one tyre is in 11th behind him.
Yes, I would agree with that. As Yorkie's ahead of them, and obviously Mickersby. Yeah, I would go with that. My brain can't deal with any more of it, so I'm just agreeing with it.
Yeah. By the way, we do have 6 laps remaining in the race, so not too long to go for Popsu to manage to get close enough to you, and if he wants to get this race win, it's will be his 2nd race win of the season for either of these guys. Johan, of course, winning last week at Brands Hatch. Popsu won the race at Algarve. Before that, it was Vernax winning the first 2 rounds, which is the main reason really why he is in the position he is in the championship. And just having been consistent in the previous 2 rounds, and he's going to finish 5th as it stands at the moment, which would clearly clinch him at the championship here today.
As Andreas Hayder is just basically almost stopped, allowing Maisie through. Again, my camera was completely facing the wrong. My camera's having a mare of a day, as it seems to be looking the wrong way at important times. As Popsu is back within 7 tenths rather, of Johan. So that battle has not run out of legs either. Let's see, have they got any back markers ahead of them? Not for a little while. So they resume their battle as it was. Yeah, you can't see the next car who's just coming into turn 2.
They've gone through everyone up to Nick Meter, haven't they? And actually, no, they've gone through.
Yeah,
everyone
no,
up
you're
to
right.
one
No,
side.
it is. Yeah, it is Nick Meter.
Yeah.
That Nick
there's a 10
is.
second gap there. So.
Yeah, absolutely. So there's 12 or so back to warm tyres, and there's Mickersby in that mixture somewhere. Where's Yorkie?
Oh, he's right on the back of Tipple still. There we go. This is good. Wait, is that? Oh no, is that Colin McCoy?
No, it was Tipple, but
yeah, he had he's got to
slow down. Yeah, slow down penalty. Too wide on the exit of turn 11. So as Yorkie then comes back up into, that'll be 6th position. Vernuk still, well, he's lost the back of James, but still minding his own business out there in 5th position. Andrex, I think, has settled into a rhythm. That was a 124 dead for the white M6 last time around, so he's not going to push too hard. He knows, not without a major incident, he's not going to close that 13 seconds ahead of him, and he knows he's 4.5 seconds ahead of James. Lost 4 cents last time around, but he knows he's not going to lose that gap either in the next 5 laps. So Andrex will be settling for 3rd position as Maisie and Warm Tyre are resuming their battle again.
I really can't separate these guys. It's up to Maisie now to close the gap to him. Warm Tyre has got Mickersby still there. This is the most likely battle, I would say, going into the final 5 laps of the race. Mickersby, Warm Tyre, Maisie in the P10 train at the moment. So of course it's close still between the top 2, 5/10 of a second between you and Popsu. Apart from that, it is a relatively spread out at this stage. That whole midfield group that was containing like 6 or 7 cars earlier in the race is down to these 3 now. Mickersby is about holding on to the top 10, which would be his first top 10 of the season. Actually, his best finish is 13th, which was last time out. Apart from that, his first 3 races was all outside the point, so Mickersby having a good run by his standards so far this season. Warm Tyre though is all over the back of him in the very similar looking Ferrari coming into the caution line. He's going to be brave on the brakes. I don't think he really needs to, considering the gap ahead is big. He's not really going to catch anyone else in this final laps of the race, so he can take his time here.
Yeah, not unless someone else starts to struggle. I mean, for instance, Tipple, they're in 6th position, actually 7th because Yorkie's in there.
That's so far ahead.
Yeah, but I mean, he did a 126, so it is still possible for issues to happen, but still the front runners in the low 23s. Absolutely stunning pace for Johan and Popson.
It really is, and Johan again has just clawed that gap back up. Again, Johan, by the way, has got down to 22.9, the first 22 lap I've seen.
Oh, yeah.
All race along, so on course for the fastest lap at least. Warm Tyre is having a run down the straight on Mickersby, but not making anything of that. Although Mickerson is running a little bit wide actually through the corner. Warm Tyre gifted a little bit of a look, but he's going to have that outside line for turn 3. Which isn't going to be easy unless he can catch underneath with a better exit, but Mickersby places his car nicely at the moment and closing that door as well. Bit of the apex though could give Warm Tyre another good run, but no, not for the time being. Mickersby holding on to 10.
Yeah, that's bringing Maisie right back into this battle as well. We've seen Maisie and Warm Tyre cross swords before. It was fairly dramatic, so we could be looking at, well, we are in the closing stages, so don't discount Maisie from getting involved.
Definitely not. He's been, of course, very similar pace on Warm Tyre throughout the race. I would say Mickersby has maybe been a tiny bit slower than these two, which is what makes it interesting that he's at ahead of the train here. And these guys very much putting the pressure on. But of course, even if you're a bit off the pace, if you defend well, it is not a given that the faster guys will manage to get the position. And so far, Mickersby has done exactly that. Just sticking to his line, going defensive when he needs to. And once again, getting a good exit out of the final corner, which means Warm Tyre is going to have a tough time to make the move into turn 2.
And again, looks like Mickersby doing exactly what he needs to do to keep Warm Tyre behind him. Oh, that was close. Who's Yorkie close to? That's Tipple. So that's still a battle there, but that's not the battle we want. We won this one. So I was getting a notification that Yorkie.
Oh no, Popsu, go to Popsu. Popsu's had a problem.
Oh,
Popsu's had a spin, I think. He's dropped 6 seconds to Johan and ended that battle for first place, unfortunately.
Yeah. And he did a 22.9 last time around, so...
Oh, wow.
What a shame for Popsy, but that battle has well and truly ended with 2 to go. If he makes another one, Andrex will be right with him.
Indeed, yeah. So Popsy clearly has had a really good pace all the race long. Not quite able to get close enough to Johan, but finally, all that hard pushing has meant that he's made a mistake after 40 laps of running. And Johan now given a very easy win, I would say, in the final stages of this race. So this is the battle we have then. This is the remaining battle after all the battling we've seen throughout the race. This is what remains.
There's a bit of battle somewhere, and a lot of it has actually been in this midfield pack that we are currently looking at. We started with 21 down.
And he might not even be, decisive of the physical positions at the end, because all of these guys have a penalty. Now, actually, I don't know about Mickes B. He might not have a penalty.
We don't know. Well, we assume he doesn't.
Yeah.
As the race leader has started, or is on his very final lap. 6 seconds separates him and his next rival. As we've just seen the Lemon Lemon go out of the shot. Let's just keep an eye. Oh, one time sizing up a move on Mickes B. And again, Mickes B defends that line into turn 3. And that is not done yet. Where's Johan? Where is he? He's just coming up to the corkscrew, so he's got a little way to go yet. And that was that Yorkie? No, it must have been Andrex catching up to that particular pack.
Yeah, my camera is going weird at the moment.
It's looking off into the hills. Yeah, that's actually Andrex catching up to this particular pack. Now, I'm annoyed that the camera bug still makes this job even more difficult.
Yeah.
The camera just wanders off. Well,
timings weren't hard enough, but
Nick Murdo has allowed Johan through. So your winner here in Laguna Seca by a very dominant performance is the red Ferrari of Johan Popsu. In the white Ferrari, he's had another issue somewhere because he's lost another 3 seconds, but it's enough to keep him in second position. What a performance from this man, though. It is the white BMW of Andrex. We've just seen that pack that we've just been watching of Mickes B, Warntire and Maisie cross the line as well. James barely looked at him all race long in the blue Ferrari, finishes ahead of Vernax in 5th position. Tipple is across the line, is 6th. Yorkie is across the line. I think Yorkie was actually 6th because he was further up the road than Tipple. Stu, what a shame for him, running 3rd most of the race, finishes in what will be 8th position.
8th.
Nick Media's already thrown it into the ball. And I'm assuming they're just having a bit of fun. Oh, look at that!
This is fun.
This is good to see. I'm glad that we have this option to have a bit of fun in the cool-down lap. Andreas Hayder in the Ferrari is therefore classified in 12th, I think. Maisie in the Audi couldn't overcome Warntire. Rigor barely saw him all race long. Has come across the line. Mickes B we just saw, and Adam McCoy, absolutely no idea what position he finished in his BMW. But that is today's race done.
Yeah, it is indeed. I assume we'll be getting a confirmation of the results, and they're obviously excluding Andrex, Yorkie, and a few.
Meadham managed to get 28 seconds penalty. 38 for Maisie. That is impressive. 38 for Maisie.
Oh my word! So he drops behind Hayder. Nick Meadow stays though in what would be 9th. It would seem, because he had a bit of a gap there, and Warntire has 10 seconds himself. And Mickes B, you'd assume, will stay in 10th ahead of Warntire.
But it depends if any of those penalties get contested.
Potentially, Nick Meadow might have lost that to Mickes B, actually, if Mickes B did not have a penalty. But I guess
we have no idea.
Yeah, we have no idea.
Which is a bit of a shame, but that is what is presented to us. But wow, what a race! Brilliant stuff.
Yeah, some good action in that race. It's a shame we never saw an overtake for the lead, apart from right at the start, when of course Stu lost out to Johan immediately when the race started. Popsy was close for a very, very long time just couldn't quite get close enough to force Johan into any defensive maneuvers. Eventually spun it. Didn't really have anything to lose, though, you have to say. Popsu clearly pushing very hard to get close enough. Led to a spin rather than an overtake, unfortunately for him. But yeah, still stays in second place because he had a pretty solid gap there on Andrex, who gets his first podium of the season and a third podium for the BMW after Yorkie, of course, has had two previously as well.
And I mean, the performance that he put in was right on the leader's pace. There's a few tenths off in the end. And the fastest lap does actually belong, I believe, to Johan. The only two to get within under 123 was indeed the top two Ferraris. 122.948 for Johan and 963. Wow. Within the same tenth of a second for Johan and Popsy. And to be fair, Andrex was only 3 tenths behind that with 123.34. So very, very decent pace then being shown by the M3s as well.
Yeah, I have to say I'm not sure why we're still at the result screen.
No idea.
Usually stay this long, I think, but doesn't really matter. What it does matter though is that with that 5th place in the race, Vernox has secured the AUR-PC GT3 Elite League Season 8 Championship title. Good man, well done. So with one race to spare, it's a very short season, of course. It always feels kind of weird to crown a champion after 5 rounds, but when it's only 6 rounds in the season, and Vernox is the one who's been, very fast and very consistent, whereas of course Johan and Popsu and a few of the other fast guys have had various issues along the way. So. Yeah, but definitely, I would say very well deserved there for Vernox, who is now joining us in the Twitch chat as well, saying "Yo!" Very celebratory word there, Vernox. But yeah, congrats to you on the championship.
And to be fair, a great effort by our drivers throughout this league. And there's been quite a few battles in every race that we've seen, which is always good, and not just dominated by the Ferraris. Yes, Ferrari has taken the title, but it hasn't been just an easy fought, run off into the distance. They have had to fight for it, and obviously the patch making a few changes mid-season is never ideal, but our drivers have coped with it pretty well. So yes, I look forward to our closing round next week.
Indeed. Vernox, I was going to ask if he wants a championship interview, but I guess if you want to let us know quickly in the chat, then you can. Apart from that, my throat is kind of going, so I'm not sure how much I want to stay here, to be honest. But of course, we do have one more race remaining in the season. I'm going to quickly bring up the calendar so you can see for yourself. We've been through Imola and Spa. King-Kodiak has been through Algarve and Brands Hatch, and Laguna Seca just finished. So Monza will be our final race of the season next Wednesday. 34 laps of racing there with some heavy clouds and quite late actually. I wonder if there's going to be some night racing potentially to 10 p.m. in-game time. Interesting.
Awesome stuff. As we haven't had a response from Vernox, I'm assuming that would be a no, so I guess we can wrap up at this point.
Yep. So in that case, I would like to thank, first of all, everyone who has watched this race live on the Twitch. It's been great. Even though I haven't really responded to you guys in the chat, I have read most of the things that you have put. It's always good to see some interaction. And of course, thanks to the guys who have been following the Twitch as well throughout. The stream will go up later on my YouTube channel in sort of a highlights form. That is AOR Fizzy on YouTube, and the whole broadcast should also be up from KK's view on his channel, Ranger Carrot.
Indeed it will.
And it will. So to those 55 of you who are still around in the chat, cheers for sticking around. Hope you enjoy the racing. Do join us again next week for the final race at Monza. And yes, to answer the question in the chat there, for those who missed the previous 2 races, round 3 and 4, as the result of me not streaming it, they are also on KK's YouTube channel, Ranger Carrot. So you can go there and check that out if you want to. Yeah, Vernox wants to stream back, so I will allow him to do that to watch a championship winning race, even though It wasn't a race-winning race, but he didn't really need to win the race. The championship is clinched for Vernox, who is our Season 8 championship. Congratulations again, and next week it is Monza, so do join us then. Thank you, KK, for joining me in the box.
Always a great pleasure. We will indeed see you, happy people, next time at the Temple of Speed, the Autodromo Nazionale Monza, in 1 week's time.
Oh, yeah. Thanks for watching, guys, and see you later.
Good night.
Goodbye.